I wanted to start with gratitude. So thank you all for sharing that. It's all amazing. It makes my day to just see everything that we're grateful for. And I am grateful for having you all here and for all of you guys to take the time for being here. So I'm actually going to pass on the mic to my friend Genesis Press so she can introduce herself, and she's going to set an intention for our call. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Diana. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys and that you were all able to make it. So how I want to start the call off is by setting an intention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull an oracle card for you guys. And I'll be pulling from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Get an intention going. So Spirit, what is it that we need to hear for this call today? All right, guys. So this one's actually a really good card. So we pulled for this call, you're already doing it. Stop overthinking, keep facing your true north. So I'm really grateful that you guys are actually able to be here because this shows that you're actually here for yourself and you're willing to keep pushing forward. So this card is actually really amazing to pull. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen because we have a small presentation for you. One second. Uh-oh. There we go. Can you guys see my screen? Awesome. All right, so Diana, if you want to get into what our agenda is for today, that would be amazing.
Yes, so we just went over a mini introduction. We're actually going to move on to the presentation part of this call, and then we're going to set some time for Q&A so we can answer all your questions, anything that came up during the presentation. And then the best part of it, it's the one that I'm most excited for, and it's opportunity to do some hot seat coaching. So this is where you're going to get a chance to have some coaching on the spot, free coaching, and we just look forward to supporting you. So if anything comes up, just write a little note on a little notepad or something so we can support you the best during that time. And we're actually going to get started. So Genesis is going to start with talking about what inner child healing is. So what it looks like.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited to go ahead and jump right in. So what is inner child healing? So inner child healing, the simplest way to put it, I like to break it down into two parts, right? So the first part is what is the inner child? And then obviously what is healing, which is a little bit easier to understand. So inner child is who you truly are before the labels, before the conditioning by society or your family or whoever, and before you had any limiting beliefs. So what I like to think of is a 4-year-old girl. When she's wearing her tutu, she's confident, she was loud, she's bold, she expressed her emotions freely. She didn't give a damn what anyone thought, and you couldn't tell her that she couldn't do anything. You couldn't tell her that she couldn't fly or that she wasn't a fairy princess. I feel like as we get older, this magic fades little by little. We get told what appropriate behavior is and what it's not. In school, we're taught that we must raise our hand to speak. We have to ask permission to use the restroom, and then we start getting molded into what society wants us to be, robots. Then after primary school, our bodies start to change and we start feeling new feelings that we've never felt before, hormones. So anyhow, we're expected to know exactly what we want to do with the rest of our lives at around age 16. I think personally that that's a scam because at this point, we don't know who we are. We haven't discovered ourselves, but somehow we trudge through and we find ourselves at this age, whatever age you are now. And you start to ask yourself, who am I without this job, without this relationship, without the titles of mother, daughter, son, father, manager at the bank, whatever it is that you do. This is who the inner child is without all the labels. So the second part of the healing is the healing part. So this process is understanding what your needs are and how you can begin to fulfill them. So I'm going to give you guys a little share. For me, inner child healing was an interesting experience. I'm still on the journey, so I'm not perfect at all. But one thing that I did have to work through first was needing to feel safe and loved. So as a child, this was something that I didn't really receive, and it manifested into adulthood. So I had to find security in healthy ways, such as finding a stable job and loving myself. And that's why I became a self-love coach, because this is super important for me. Yeah. So I also found a phenomenal partner, which I'm so grateful for, and we connect on a soul level. But before all of this, I was homeless. I felt worthless, and I had those icky feelings because I didn't know what the inner child healing was. So before we dive too deep, I invite you guys to ask yourself, why? Why should I do this? All right. So now that we've given it a moment of reflection, I want to give you guys what the benefits and what some setbacks are for doing this work, or maybe what it looks like for not doing this work. So some of the benefits that Diana and I have both experienced, because we're on our journeys now, is having clarity or a clear vision on what your goals are and what your desires are in life. You're going to feel worthy of abundance in all aspects in terms of love, finances, resources, and ideas. And for me, improved relationship with yourself and others was super duper important, because when we go through trauma in our lives, we feel isolated and we feel like we're alone. So this call is showing you guys that you aren't alone. We have a few attendees. We have Diana and myself, so you're not alone. Some of the setbacks to not doing this work is dealing with unresolved trauma, anger management issues, feeling lack or unworthy, depression, being a chronic people pleaser, always saying yes, being that yes man, and lack of boundaries with no self-respect. So this is why it's so important to do this work. And Diana is going to give us her story. So Diana, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, thank you all for your attention and for giving us the most important things that you guys have. So that's your time and your energy. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So Genesis actually gave us an amazing intro to what inner child healing is. And it is through healing of the inner child that we're able to gain that self-awareness and bring forth that confidence and self-trust that we all look for. So think about this. I mean, how many of us have made promises to ourselves that we've never kept? I mean, that is huge for me. I've done that. So I did that in the past so many times. And you know where that got me? That got me to second guessing myself, actually believing that I was a mensa, seeking for validation in relationships. And ultimately, I lost my sense of self-worth. My intuition was not being heard. It became suppressed by layers of conditioning and just voices that I was just hearing throughout my upbringing. And I adopted this belief that because it was so hard to look within and go through my emotions, it was actually easier for me to focus on making other people happy. And then that would be my life purpose. And yes, I'm a former people pleaser. I actually focused way too much on doing the right thing. I found pride in holding labels of a good girl, a good daughter, a good sister, a good friend, an employee of the month, all the things. And I forgot the most important thing, which was to take care of myself. And think about this, like, in what ways has this been true to you? Have you ever found yourself saying yes to commitments, to examples, parties, again, commitments, dreams, careers? Like, if this resonates you, just type a yes in the comments. I want to see who this resonates with. Yes, yes, for sure. We've all found ourselves there. And one of the ways that I found myself there was actually through my career. I pursued an accounting degree. And I did it all for the wrong reasons. I did it for the sense of security. I wanted the title of a corporate job. And I was feeling so unhappy, but I really wanted to make my family proud. I wanted to graduate. I wanted to feel safe. I want to have stability and comfort. And how is this related to inner child healing? It's actually everything. Our behaviors and mindset are developed through our childhood and through, our environment. I mean, how many things or habits have we found ourselves replicating through our parents or to whoever raised you? Probably many, and with pretty good cost, because they raised us. They were our teachers as children. They were absolutely everything that we knew. And one way that I can think of that this showed up for me was a story of when I was 6 years old. So when I was 6 years old, we lived in a little two-bedroom apartment, and I had all my uncles and aunties living there with me. And I was only child at that time. And I loved playing with Barbies. Barbies were my thing. So what I would do, I would bring out all my Barbies, play in the middle of the hallway. We had a carpet, and I would lay them all out. I would undress them, dress them, sew clothes for them, and I just had a blast doing that for hours and hours. Then I would bring out the hairstyling tools. I would actually get the curling iron, and I would just curl the hair. I wanted them to look like the most bombas cholas from the 90s. And I had so much fun doing that. Then my mom would come home from work and she would see me. She's like, si te quemas, te voy a chingar. And for those that don't speak Spanish, I would pretty much, if I get burnt, I'll get a spanking. And in that 6-year-old mind, never in a million years could I ever think that I would get hurt. So it's like, no, she's crazy. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm just over here having fun. And I never believed her. But of course, one day happened, and I was curling with my doll's hair. I set the curling iron on the floor, and I wanted to reach and grab the brush. But it was on the opposite side. So instead of getting up, going around and grabbing it, I leaned over and kneeled on top of the curling iron and grabbed the brush. So the moment that I felt the heat, first thing I did, I would just panicked and ran to my mom's room, hid under the bed, and like covered my mouth and just like started screaming internally. It's like I was more scared of the chinga that I was gonna get after than the fact that I was missing a layer of skin in my leg, right? But it was in that moment in my 6-year-old mind that I made a couple connections. I made the connection that one, my mom was right. She was always right. And that, hello, styling tools are hot. I can get burned. And it was that experience that makes those little simple connections. And now growing up, how does it look like? Every time I do my hair, even this morning when I straighten my hair, I make sure to be careful because I know that I can get hurt. And it's like little things that we don't pay attention that come from my childhood. And again, this is a simple, a little tiny example, but it doesn't even have to be a true experience. It just has to be believable enough. So for instance, I go to the movie theaters, I do not see scary movies because the moment that I'm sitting there, I become the character. I'm actually I feel like I'm the person being chased by somebody, or feel that I'm the one that they're going to perform an exorcist on. So it's like I completely do not go, I just refuse to go to scary movies because my mind does not understand that what I'm experiencing, whether it's like true or fake. It just knows that my adrenals are going crazy and I'm terrified. So it believes it. And it's from that we make connections to experiences that involve our mindset. So that's why it's so important. It's so important as to our environment, who we surround ourselves with, the thoughts that we think. And this is just a little bit of what the work looks like. The work is just going back, reflecting, understanding where certain habits or beliefs came from. So just to refer on the slide show, we get the work, it's like we get to question absolutely everything. We questions our experiences, our beliefs, our thoughts, and we get to unlearn beliefs and thoughts so that we can then embody the confidence and the self-trust that lives within us. It lives within everybody. And this is where it takes us to what I call the butterfly effect. So we're going to go to the next slide. Let's see here. Amazing. So yes, once I did the work, I chose to finally stop blaming others. And instead of blaming others, look within myself. How was I playing a role in the current outcome in my life? I'm so sorry to say, but ultimately we are responsible for the outcome that we currently have. And that includes the good stuff and the not so enjoyable stuff. And to clarify, this doesn't have, this is not in regards to like real trauma. That's a little bit more complex, and we incorporate additional steps, but this is more for like the mindset piece. However, like what if I told you you're the only one that can change that? What if you have the opportunity to like rediscover and create the most amazing version of yourself? You get to unlearn and release before you get to relearn and expand. And that's where the butterfly effect comes in. So I see ourselves as like, we start as a little caterpillar. We are just focused on like eating and just doing all those habitual patterns, and we're on autopilot. Then we begin to work on ourselves. We get into this little cocoon and we go through the healing piece. And once we go through that healing piece, which is very important, it's when we become a butterfly. We step into our power, we embody the truest version of ourselves, and then we become this beautiful butterfly. So, like Genesis mentioned before, it's like it's never ending. We always are working on something new. And sometimes we just need the support. And which is why I actually incorporated a couple journaling prompts. So if you're open to it, if you can actually bring out some pen and paper, I would love if we can reflect on these questions. So we're actually gonna give you a few minutes to work on this on your own, but I'm just gonna quickly read them out loud. The first question being, think about the people you respect, the people that you follow on Instagram. Why do you respect and follow them? The second one is, when I transition from this world, how do I want to be remembered? What is the legacy that I want to leave behind? How can I show up today that will be an integrity of how I want to be remembered or even just known? And because we're coming to the end of the year, we're stepping into 2022, what is one thing in 2021 that you want to stop doing in 2022? What is one thing that you want to keep that actually worked this year that you want to move forward with in 2022? And what is one thing that you would love to start in 2022 that will actually help you and beyond? So Genesis is going to add a little music so you guys have some time, and we're going to give you about 5 minutes or so and we'll check in with you guys. But I would love if you could just journal on this, please. And as you guys are finishing up, if you can just pop it in the comments that you're done so we know when to jump in.
Diane, I'm going to give it about another minute or so they can have the full 5 minutes.
Awesome. That sounds great. And I would love it if you guys actually want to share the last question, just so we know what we're looking forward to for 2022, which is the one thing you want to stop doing, the one thing you want to keep doing, and the one thing that you want to start doing. That way, this can be as a way that we get committed for it. We can have a great start for 2022.
All right, so it's been 5 minutes. If anyone is open to sharing, we would love to hear from you. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, or like Diana said, throw it in the chat so we can read it out loud. I wanted to share one thing just to get this started. So one thing that I want to keep in 2022 is having community and being part of community. I think that's super duper important for us to feel, sometimes we just need to feel validated, and we need to be around those people that are going to uplift us. So that is something I definitely want to keep for 2022. Diana, what's one thing for you?
One thing for me is my morning routine. It's become really a crucial part of me setting up for a good day. And my morning routine includes like having my cup of water with lemon in the morning and journaling. So those are two things that I know that if I do, I feel really good the rest of my day. So definitely want to keep that.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to start for 2022? Oh, it looks like Angela wants to share. Angela, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh, I can wait. I know you asked her a question. I'll wait.
No, go ahead, Angela.
Yeah, go ahead, Angela.
Okay, I want to stop beating myself up and pushing myself so far, like being mean to myself and so critical, and pushing myself like just to the limit and over. And then I want to keep my beautiful heart-centered relationships, and I want to start really exercising and doing qigong every day, and kickboxing and Zumba, things that I enjoy.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Thanks for sharing, Angela. Looks like we have another one in the chat. Lisa says that I've put an end to so many things this year already. I've learned so many big lessons and tossed bad habits that didn't serve me. Awesome. So one thing she wants to keep, she says, is love and passion for others close to me and things that bring me joy. I see a little theme going on here.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about, oh, we got some more hands raised. Adri,
Yes,
you want
please.
to unmute yourself?
Hey loves, hold on, I'll turn my video on. Hi. So I wanted to share a little bit about like my 2022 goals. Like I want to stop letting my limiting beliefs and my ego get in my own way. And like how Angela said, I want to also stop being so self-critical and stop expecting way too much out of me because I'm just one person. And I want to keep developing my morning routine and my self-love routine and like keep up with it so that those limiting beliefs and my ego don't get in my way. And then I want to start working out again because I used to be very all about the gym and weightlifting and all this kind of stuff, but I want to like create a I'm sorry.
No worries. Wanted to make an appearance. All is welcome.
But yeah, I want to start incorporate or make a routine where I can do more than just weightlifting. Like I want to do weightlifting, I want to do yoga, I want to try different things. Like I don't want to just stick to one, and I want to like just do whatever feels best for me and my body.
It's okay. I love that.
That's an amazing share. We have some more things in the comments. So
Yes, Ken actually shared as well. He said, in 2022, I'd like to stop being worried about things I can't control. I want to keep my positive expectations of the future and start going out of my comfort zone and doing things I normally wouldn't. That's amazing. Yes.
Shannon also shared, she said that she wants to stop overthinking and keep me first in all I do. I want to start believing in myself. These are all amazing. Thank you guys so much for being really brave and sharing this with us and being really vulnerable. We really appreciate that. I want everyone to drop some hearts in the chat for all of those who were sharing. And if you resonated with anyone, please drop some hearts. Any colored hearts will do. I'm going to go ahead and share mine. I like white hearts.
I'm going to do like Angela, like the purple ones.
Yeah.
Love it all.
Amazing. Thank you so much, you guys.
Yes, thank you. And I know that, this short amount of time, we shared so much information and we reflected a little bit as well. But actually, Genesis is going to transition into what now? Like what things we can implement like on your own if you choose to do that. So whenever you're ready, Genesis, you can take over.
Awesome. Give me 1 second. Can you guys see my screen where I share what now and some tools?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. So yes, like Diana was saying, we have thrown a lot of information at you. So I want to simplify the process by giving you guys actionable steps that you can take with you. So before I start, go ahead, if you're somebody who needs to screenshot because you're not going to write fast enough, go ahead and screenshot this so you can take it with you. And make sure that you don't just let this get onto your photos and like you forget about it. Put this as your favorite so you can come back to this. Anyhow, so I just want you to remember these 3 simple steps so you can go deep in your own time. The first one is, I feel like, is the most important. Allowing yourself space and grace for your own thoughts to come up. And I heard that a lot. Everyone wants to have grace for themselves. So I want you to say this in your head. Allow space for grace. How will you ever know what your feelings are if you never let yourself pause and reflect? I feel like oftentimes we're so busy with work, life, or checking in on other people that we forget about ourselves. Imagine. Okay, so the next step is to hold a sacred and safe space for your emotions. Have you ever been told that you're your worst enemy? I know I have. My mom, when I was growing up, would always call me my worst enemy. She'd be like, Hennessy, you don't need any enemies because you're your own worst enemy. Like, you need to stop. Because I would constantly judge myself. So I feel like we have to reflect on what our internal monologue looks like. How are you talking to yourself? Are you uplifting yourself? Or are you talking to yourself like shit? Excuse my French, but that's what we do sometimes. When we do this work, this inner child healing work, it's important that we allow ourselves to be free of judgment. So I want you guys to remember this part. Set up a physical space and a time each day where you allow yourself to reflect. For me, in the morning time, I have my own personal me time. And at nighttime, right before I go to bed, I allow myself a space and a journal so that I can reflect on my thoughts for the day. And finally, the last step is whether you need to take a break to meditate, do some breath work, just make sure that you prepare your body for the emotional exploration that's about to happen. So I want to go ahead and give you guys some tools, which you already have up here. Let me come back to the slideshow. Okay, so some of the tools. We already talked about journaling. So that's something that you guys just did with journaling prompts. You guys can go ahead and take those, or you can search online for different journaling prompts. So that's one way. Another way is to do something that we call stream of consciousness journaling, which is what I do at nighttime. And I just allow myself maybe 10 minutes of free writing just to get all your thoughts down on paper. The second tool that you can use is meditation or breath work. So what Diana and I are going to do, we're going to send you a couple links to some YouTube videos that will help you with meditating. And then lastly, a tool that I have used that is so effective is hiring a coach, getting a coach to help me through my limiting beliefs and helping me transform. So now I want to get into the portion of the call that is so exciting. And that is, Diana, you want to tell them?
Yes, the hot seat coaching part. But before we get into that, do you guys have any questions? Any questions about the presentation or anything that might have come up for you? I want to go ahead and answer any questions before we move on to the coaching.
Looks like Angela has a question. Angela, you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, I just want to thank you, ladies. This is a beautiful presentation, so heartfelt. I've tried to do inner child work in the past, and it wasn't a good experience. And I'm probably in a much different place as well. I've changed my mindset and done a lot of forgiving and everything. But this just seems so beautiful and pure. And to be honest, I was a little worried because when I hear inner child, I'm like, oh my God. But I have done like so much hypnosis and work. So I think I'm just in a different space. And I'm just so happy that I took the time to make this workshop. And I actually had like an Instagram thing. It was like, show your little self or whatever. And I saw my little girl, I did a couple pictures and I'm like, oh my God, she needs this. So I rescheduled some stuff and it worked out. So I'm just really happy to be here. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, Angela. That just fills our hearts just to hear that and to know that this is as special for you as it is for us. We both, Genesis and I, have gone through our own journey with inner child healing, and it's a hard work. But like you said, you get into the different mindset space and you become more open. So I'm so glad to hear that you're in a much better space right now. And, if anything ever comes up, feel free to reach out to Genesis and I. We're here to support you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to say real quick too, and you're young, like I'm older and you're young. And I just wish I knew this when I was your age, and you're just young, beautiful, and so wise. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela, for sharing. That's amazing. And you're so brave for coming to this call and showing up for yourself and wanting to do this work, because not a lot of people are ready for this. So I'm so proud of you and thank you for coming. Awesome. Is there anyone else that wants to share, or if they have any questions, you can pop them in the chat. If you're not comfortable with talking, that's okay. So we'll give a few minutes for that. See. Okay, Adri, it looks like you have a share or a question. Go ahead.
Okay. So my biggest thing is like blockages within like inner child healing. Like that's honestly the biggest thing that I struggle with. And like honestly, like how do we get past that? Or like how do I'm always doing shadow work and I'm always doing, I think I'm gaslighting myself in a way. Like I keep thinking of rational or like reasonings to explain my feelings, rather like I rationalize my feelings rather than actually feeling them. And like I don't know how to get past that.
Diana, I don't know. Did you want to take this one or you want me to take
Sure, I'll take in. Thank you, Edgy, for sharing. Sometimes I've found myself in that space as well. Like we want to rationalize everything and just find a reason for why we're feeling a certain way. And when it comes specifically for inner child healing, like sometimes we do have blockages, sometimes we can't remember certain things. And we get to remember that we're only going to be revealed what we need to work through at that moment. So if something is not coming up for you, then don't pressure yourself to figuring out that part of your childhood per se at that moment, and focus more on the feeling. I love to work with feeling the sensations of where you can feel the energy in your body, and then ask yourself, like, what is this feeling bringing forward with me? What is it trying to tell me? And just sit with it. A lot of times we have a busy mind and we like to think about things, and our mind just goes a million miles per hour. But if we can just sit with the feeling and really ask ourselves, so what is our body trying to tell us? Why are we feeling this way? And we just sit there and close our eyes, it'll eventually come to us. So that is one recommendation. How about you, Genesis? Do you have anything for Audrey?
Yes, I can actually relate to you so much, Adri, because for a really long time, I had so much trouble with knowing what I felt because I never allowed myself to feel my feelings. So what came up for me when you were speaking was allow space for grace. Have grace with yourself and all the emotions that might come up for you. I do suggest having that quiet time with yourself. That way you can maybe reflect, but make sure you're not judging yourself, you know? So even if you want to start off with like some breath work and getting into like a meditative state and just being by yourself, cry if you have to, punch a pillow if you have to, but allow yourself to feel all those feelings. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be with, you know, hey, I remember I had this feeling before, and now I kind of know maybe why I have that feeling and how I can do the same thing in the future if this ever comes up. So yeah, Diana, I thought that was a really good tool that you gave.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, what Genesis mentioned prior in the slides, stream of consciousness journaling really helps with this as well. Especially if you have a busy mind, if you just start journaling a simple thing as, I hate that I'm writing this right now. And then you just keep going, more things are going to unravel and more things are going to come up. And then you get to see, you know, oh, okay, this was what it was trying to tell me. You know, it's just I wasn't able to see it in the moment when I'm thinking all these things. But when there's a lot of magic when you put your thoughts into pen and paper. So that's another tool that I would recommend.
Yeah, Diana, I wanted to ask Adri, how do you feel? Like what's resonating with you?
I mean, I definitely do journal. I definitely journal. I just feel like there's something stuck or stagnant and it's like wanting to come out. Like it's definitely wanting to come out. However, like it just doesn't. And that's like the biggest issue for me. It's like, I don't know. And now I feel like I'm in a state of, I'm not numb, but I don't feel anything. Like it's weird. Like it's not numbness because I felt that before, but it's like I just don't feel anything anymore. Like I feel like I can't feel, like I don't really feel happiness and I don't really feel sadness. Like it's weird. That's honestly like my issue.
And when is there specific moments that trigger this, or when do you start having these feelings?
Honestly, it's just like constant. Like I just don't really feel anything, and then like if I do end up like crying or something like that, it's usually hormonal.
Usually.
So yeah. So it's like weird.
Yeah. And how long has this been going on for?
Probably the past week or 2 or 3. Yeah.
And is there anything that you can recall, like prior to that, that either made you feel uncomfortable, or you remember like some style of like immediate feeling that you felt in your body over a certain situation, even though it happened, a while before you started feeling this way?
You have PTSD from a certain traumatic experience, and I have been working through it. And I have been actively like doing inner child healing work and meditations and that kind of stuff. And like I thought that I made a breakthrough, but now I feel like maybe I'm just like not even close.
I'm sure if you thought that you had a breakthrough, you probably did. So I wouldn't minimize those little things. It's just that it's a long process. It's not something that happens overnight or in just one program. Sometimes we have 12-week coaching programs, but it is a journey. And like Genesis mentioned, like we need to hold grace for ourselves. It's gonna take some time, and it sounds like what you need right now is maybe it's just some support and just to sit with it on your own. And Genesis and I are here for you. Like we're so grateful that you're here, and I'm more than happy to help as well. But yes, just give yourself some grace and keep journaling. Even when you think you're like nothing's coming up, things are coming up. Like it's happening for a reason. And just to understand that it's going to take some time, but it will come up and it will pass.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you both.
Thank you, Adri. Last thing before we let you go, I just wanted to say this because I feel like I know a little bit about you. We've talked a couple of times before. I would say too, make sure that you're not always go, go, go in your life, because that can lead to burnout. And I know you're an entrepreneur and you have all these things going on. I would suggest, if journaling isn't working, if sitting with yourself, you feel like you have a blockage, take a day off and do something that you enjoy doing. Turn off the phone, go wherever you feel makes you happy. Plan a trip to the beach or something like that, and just like let the thoughts come to you, because you have all the answers within you. You have it all within you, but don't pressure yourself to get to that answer. Okay, I feel like, yeah, if none of the other things resonate, hopefully this resonates with you.
Yes. And to me, this is a community. So if any of you guys have any words of encouragement for Audrey, please unmute yourself and share some of that with her. We can share some of that love.
I just want to say energy work has been really helpful for me. And I'm not sure if you do it or not, but like, Reiki, and you can just like, if you feel the energy in your body, you can just kind of go into your heart and kind of sense it and feel it and put your hand on your heart and just kind of be with it and just honor yourself.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much, Angela, for that. Energy is very powerful.
Thank you all so much. I really do appreciate it, because it has been weighing heavy on me. Like I just have felt like I don't know what to do anymore. And I definitely resonate with everything you guys are saying. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Audrey, for sharing. And I think there's some comments here. Ground yourself in nature. So Lisa mentioned ground yourself in nature. If it isn't too cold, I'd love to unmute myself, but my daughter keeps screaming. No worries, Lisa. Thank you. So thank you for sharing. And then Angela also mentioned your brave and beautiful energy work is really good for that. Yes, thank you.
Lisa also popped in the chat and said something so powerful, I think. She said, healing isn't linear. So oftentimes, like I know in the past, I've beaten myself up because I feel like I've gotten past something and maybe it came up again for me. So I think it's important to understand that, guys, this like healing is not like climbing Mount Everest. There is like no top to it. There is, it's gonna be messy and some things might come back up for you. So yeah, have grace with yourself.
Yes. How about anybody else? Do you have anything to share? Anything that came up? And it doesn't even have to pertain to inner child healing. We're here to support you. So anything that you might be experiencing that you feel called to share, please either unmute yourself or share in the comments.
I'm having a hard time like slowing down. Like I've just been pushing so hard the past week. And I got some salt baths. Like I have really good suggestions for other people. Like I'm a healer and I have clients and stuff. But when it comes to myself, my mind is just like go, go, go. And like I have salt baths, salt stuff, and I still haven't done it. Yeah, and I mean I made time for myself now, which is great. But I guess that's what I'm dealing with is like truly loving myself. Like I'm getting there. It's a process, I know, but I'm still really struggling with it.
Diana, I'm not sure if you wanted to start this one off or.
Sure, I can start off. Okay, thank you, Angela, for sharing. And when you said that you haven't truly, obtained that self-love, what do you think it's stopping you?
All the programming I had as a child, like you're not good enough, wishing I never had you, you're fat, you're ugly. So I worked through a lot, and I know it's a lot of projection. I'm finally realizing that, but it's still really hurtful. And then also with my family, because my medical choices they don't agree with, and so I'm not invited for the holidays, and it breaks my heart because I really love my nieces and nephews, and I haven't seen my nephew in a year. So basically just things that I can't control but are hurtful that have kind of been happening my whole life but are happening in different ways now. So I've just been channeling everything into my businesses, but I'm really overworking myself. And then I'm trying to cope in a healthy way, which this is a healthy way, but I need balance. And the other thing is like Christmas is less than 2 weeks, and I'm trying like not to focus on it because it's sad for me this year and like the past 2 years for different reasons, the way the world is and medical issues and stuff. So just kind of like, and it's a lot of grief, because my mom always had such beautiful holidays, and my mom's still around, but we don't speak because it's toxic. So just, yeah, that's honoring myself and being okay with it and knowing I can't pick up the other part of the relationship. I reach out and yeah, I can't make the relationship work, and I just have such a big heart and I truly love them, but they don't show me respect and love. So choosing myself.
For sure. I can actually relate to that right now, Angela. And it's challenging because you feel like it's this tug and pull between honoring yourself and then wanting to be with people you love, but that are not being respectful and they're not honoring your choices and your voice. And it is challenging when those family members that you love so much and you just don't understand, why can't we not agree on certain things and still find a middle ground and enjoy ourselves. But being in the same similar situation, I'm ultimately just choosing me. I'm choosing myself and my peace of mind and choosing my energy, that being in peace. But one of the things that is really helpful, it's still community. Sometimes we just need something like this where we can talk and vent and connect, because even though we can't fulfill that connection with those family members, we are still human beings. We still seek connection with other people. So finding a group or finding somewhere where you can still have those connections even though you're seeking it from your family, can definitely be very helpful, especially right now in the holidays, which is one of the reasons we created this space right now, because we found ourselves that it's very important work, especially around this time. So I honor you, and I really honor you for putting yourself first and taking care of yourself, because that is the most important thing that we can do. Do you have anything to add, Genesis?
Yes, I actually did. I feel like one of the things that's really important when we're doing this work is understanding that sometimes it's healthy and it's okay to set energetic boundaries with others because we love ourselves, right? So one question I invite you to ask yourself, Angela, is what will you no longer accept because you love yourself? What are you letting go of? So whether that's people that are toxic in your life, I understand it's really hard to like maybe grieve that, but if it's not in alignment with you and they don't support your values and morals, maybe it's time to set an energetic boundary. I know it's helped me with some family. I'll give you guys an example so you don't think I'm not relatable, but I have had to set boundaries with my stepfather because he hurt me so much in childhood. And so now I only deal with him when it has to do with my brothers and sisters. And that is the only time that I talk to him, because he doesn't respect what I do and he doesn't respect me as a person. So in a loving way, I've created a boundary. The other part, Angela, that I wanted to offer was how can you grieve and get the anger and sadness out of you in a healthy way? So an example again for me was because I went through so many things in my childhood and, you know, family is not really, we're not really close. I had to grieve that sadness. And so what I started doing was I would go to the gym and I would get heavy weights and I would lift them. And that's how I got my anger out. I even punched pillows a few times because, like I said before, you know, when you don't deal with your feelings, it can get bottled up inside and you get so frustrated, and maybe you create a busy schedule for yourself because you don't want to deal with it. So I invite you to find a healthy way to deal with the anger and sadness. And lastly, we talked about having a tribe. Find your tribe. Find those people and attract those people that are in alignment with your values and are an inspiration to you. So that's all I had. I hope that resonates.
So how does that feel for you, Angela, hearing all these?
Oh my God, totally. I love this. It's just like so in my heart. But could you repeat what you said, Genesis? Like what do I not tolerate because I love myself?
Yeah, so the question was, what will you no longer accept because you love yourself? What are you no longer accepting? I'll go ahead and put it in the chat for anyone else that wants to reflect back on this question.
That's so powerful and helpful. Thank you so much, ladies.
How about anybody else? Would anybody else like to share?
Not to call you out, Lisa, but you said you wanted to unmute. I don't know if your daughter is still going haywire or not, but we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So something that I'd love to, what was that? Stop accepting. Sorry, yeah, I finally got her some snacks, so she's good now. Something that I'm no longer accepting is people saying, like, believing what people are saying, and not accepting their actions, because, you know, actions speak a lot louder than words. And I used to overlook people's actions, and that's one thing that really hurt me. And listen to, you know, the things that they said that I needed for my life without believing my inner, you know, I wasn't listening to myself either. I would do things to people please, or, you know, because I didn't want to, what's the word? I didn't want to drawing a blank, but I didn't want to have them like disapprove of what I was doing. My grandparents, my mom, you know, my own family and stuff like that. But I no longer accept that. And I finally put up the boundaries to protect myself and my own energy, because I was draining myself all the time to please them and to make them happy. And it's, you know, I had to finally put my foot down and put myself first. And that took so much. It took a lot out of me, including having to face them. But they're extremely religious too. So it was like me going my own path and stuff like that. It was like, not going where they're going, you know what I mean? So it's really rough, and I totally understand, you know. It takes such an emotional toll, knowing that you're not invited to, you know, their get-togethers. All my family, they're in Alaska and northern Washington, and I'm in southern Washington, so it's like they don't tell me when they get together now. I have to see it on Facebook. And it's, you know, it's not easy, but I've also come to the understanding, and that the people that the universe wants me to have in my life, you know, the people that are going to accept me, those are my family. Those are the people that I get to choose, you know, to have close to me. And it's, you know, it's so much more fulfilling that way. You know, blood is one thing, but being able to create our own family is where it's at. That's where you get the support that you've been needing. I mean, they say too, like, some of your biggest supporters will be strangers, you know, and it's so true. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I stopped accepting others' opinions of me and started believing myself first.
I love that, Lisa. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like, yeah, I feel like a lot of us deal with chronic people pleasing, and we want to do things that our family tells us to do. And this is part of that conditioning that we were talking about before, and that furthers you away from that inner child. So yeah, I feel like trusting your inner authority and developing trust and confidence with yourself will help you, like really help you when you're doing this kind of work. One thing that I wanted to offer, Lisa, if you're open to it, let me know if you're open first. I don't want to just offer unsolicited advice. Good. Okay, awesome. So one thing I did want to offer was, you know, sometimes when we're doing this work and, you know, our family or our friends don't agree with what we're doing, or they, you know, call you names, or they make you feel bad, and you set up that energetic boundary. One thing that has worked for me is forgiving them, even though they don't ask for it. So the person does not need to be present in your life. You don't need to do this face to face. You can forgive them, but not forget what they've done to you. And you don't need them to be there for any of this. You forgive them because you love yourself and you're ready to move on with the next step of your life. Does that, like, she's like, okay, awesome. So that does resonate. Can everyone drop a 3 in the chat if any of this is resonating with you, please? I want to just show Lisa that she's not alone. Amazing. Yes. Oh, I love it.
I honor you, Lisa, because it is challenging and it takes emotionally it's very draining, but ultimately, you know, being there for yourself and standing your ground, it's gonna feel a lot better on the other side, and you're taking care of your peace of mind and yourself. So I honor you for that.
Awesome. We had one chat that I did not want to miss, or did not want to miss out on sharing with you guys, but Ken shared that one thing that he is no longer accepting is unreciprocated energy. And if you're comfortable, do you want to unmute, or maybe we can just offer some advice? Just share in the chat which one you wanted to do. Oh, I don't know if Ken can hear us.
Yep.
Okay, here to listen. All right, awesome. So Diana, did you have any advice for unreciprocated energy?
To me, like, working a lot with energy healing, I got to do a lot of energy cord, you know, breaking So energetically breaking those cords with people. We feel there's a point where we're attached to all these people energetically, and there's some of them that there are no longer, you know, serving that relationship with. So when you energetically close your eyes, sit about and think about that relationship, how is it making us feel? If it's anything besides positive, we get to think, and in loving them, just let them go and just cut that cord. And you could either really sit with it and just kind of do it within yourself and just visualize that cord being cut. It's going to make the biggest difference. And I found that that was very, very helpful for me. Let's see, what is there? Lisa mentioned there are energetic cord cutting guided meditations on YouTube. Yeah, there we go. And I'm more than happy to send some. Gotcha, that helps. How about you, Genesis? Do you have any guidance for him?
Yes, I will give an example of just me reaching out to people, maybe offering, whatever services I have, etc. When I get energy that's unreciprocated, I move on, because sometimes people aren't ready for what I have to say, or people aren't ready or deserving of my energy. And I'm not saying that from a standpoint of I'm better than anyone else. At one point, I wasn't ready to hear certain things. And so I had to go through life first before I was able to accept it. So yeah, I definitely believe in cord cutting. I definitely believe in, energetic boundaries, and maybe sometimes just moving on to something else. Because you never know what's in store for you. It could be better than whatever relationship you're, trying to start, or whatever situation it is that you're in. So for sure.
Definitely.
Hey.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to thank you guys all again for coming, supporting us, supporting each other. You guys have been really great and so positive. So I just wanted to honor that.
Yes, thank you all so much for taking the time and for sharing, being engaging in the comments. It just makes it all so beautiful to just have this space right here. And Genesis and I just really felt called to have this event, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So I appreciate you all for showing up for us here for us, and then for yourselves.
Yeah. So I want to give time if there was anybody else that wanted to share before we get to the end part of our presentation. Now is the time. Oh, Lisa says she's grateful. Aw, thank you, Lisa. We're so glad that we're able to do this for you.
Yes. Any questions?
Hello, ladies.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I think there was probably some background sound.
Okay.
So she's going to type it in.
Okay, got it. All right. Wait on that.
So she's, let's see here. Audrey said, thank you all. It truly means a lot. And Angela mentioned grateful, such a beautiful experience. So true, Lisa. Love it. I didn't see, Shannon, did you type in something in the comments? Oh, I think she's typing now.
Yeah, it looks like she's writing it now.
Yeah. At Starbucks. Thank you so much for your value, my mom, and I appreciate it. Amber Botello invited us, and we are so grateful. Oh, I love Amber. I'm so glad she invited you, and thank you both for being here today. Kendall said a purple lotus healer. Oh, maybe that's an account.
Instagram.
Oh, that's her Instagram. Okay.
So before we go, we actually want to share with you guys where you can find us. So I'm going to share my screen one last time. 1 second as I make it big. Can you all see our social links and where to find us?
Yes, they can.
Awesome. So Diana, where can they find you?
So I'm more active on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is Diana Vega and then __. And I am a transformational life coach and also a Reiki practitioner. So thank you again so much for being here. If after this presentation, after this workshop ends, if there's anything that comes up for you, if you're looking for any support, please feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you, support you in any way possibly that we can. And if not, we can connect you to someone. We actually know a lot of people in this coaching world. So the most important thing is to find support. Don't do things alone. Like, there is support out there for you. And so thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, amazing, Diana. So you guys can also find me on Instagram. I'm the most active. I'm at Jen _ the self-love coach. You can also feel free to email me at Jen the self-love coach @gmail. So I'm a self-love and transformation coach. And I also am a Holy Fire Reiki practitioner. So this is the Reiki is the energy healing that Angela was talking about before. If you're interested in any of this, please make sure you follow me, even if it's just to get some inspiration for your day. And again, I do appreciate you. So what we're going to do is after this call, we're going to send you an email just thanking you again. And also, if you feel so called to, we would love so much if you're able to fill out a testimonial about what your experience was like in this workshop. So just make sure that you're looking out for that email from us. And thank you guys again so much.
Yes, thank you all. And we really appreciate all your feedback, especially for future workshops. So thank you so much. I hope you guys gained a lot of value, and I appreciate you all. So thank you for joining us. Take care. Oh, Ken said your presentation. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for being here with us.
Amazing. All right.